Hey guys, today is a very special day for me because I finally got my Planet Computers Astro Slide. So yeah, this is a very unique phone that's made by a small company, a UK company called Planet Computers, and this is a Kickstarter or Indiegogo project actually that I backed. And yeah, I've been waiting for over 2 years for this device. I backed this on Indiegogo back in 2020, and I think it was like April 2020, so it's been roughly 2.5 years, and I finally received this device. You know, I was I was like waiting and waiting and hoping that this would not be like, you know, one of those products that don't really come out. You know, you back and then you lose money on Kickstarter, Indiegogo. But yeah, this finally came into my hands today, which is I'm very excited about it. I've actually backed all of Planet Computer's previous devices. I backed the Gemini PDA, got it in 2018. I backed the Cosmo Communicator, got it 2 years ago in 2020. So yeah, finally, I think this is the evolution of basically the Cosmo Communicator and the FX Tech Pro 1, which is basically another keyboard phone that I looked at a few years ago. I think this is kind of taking the best features of both. So yeah, let's take a look at this device. It says more than a smartphone, Astro Slide 5G transformer smartphone. So by the way, Planet Computers, the small UK company, they are made up of, I believe, former engineers from the UK company Scion, which used to make these like PDA devices with really nice keyboards that people loved back then. And really, the Planet Computers is a spiritual successor of Scion, I believe. And yeah, they've made several devices with that Scion type of keyboard on it. So yeah, the Gemini PDA was their first effort, and I think it got pretty good reviews. And the Cosmo Communicator, I would say, is a incremental update over the Gemini PDA. But the Astro Slide is something that's kind of different, because this one, what's really cool is that you can actually use the front display is you don't have to like open it up to actually use it. So it's kind of more like a modern smartphone, right? You don't have to. The previous Planet Computer devices, the Gemini PDA and the Cosmo Communicator, you had to open it up to actually use the display, which is, you know, it's not convenient, although it's kind of like, I guess, what they chose to do with that form factor and to have the keyboard, but it's not convenient if you actually want to use it as a smartphone. So the Astro Slide kind of remedies that by doing what the FX Tech Pro X did, which is have the actual display here just on the outside. You don't have to open it or anything like that. It works like a normal modern smartphone, and then if you need the keyboard, you just slide it up to open it. So yeah, they took some design cues from FX Tech, which is another UK company, another small UK startup. Also, I backed the FX Tech Pro X, by the way. That's another upcoming smartphone from another, you know, small UK manufacturer that I guess will compete with the Astro Slide. But yeah, that's another one back 2 years ago. I still haven't seen that one come out yet. Hopefully, I'll get that one soon as well, so we can do a nice comparison between the two. But yeah, so far I think FX Tech and Planet Computers are two of the main small UK startups making keyboards with physical keyboards. So yeah, let's get on to the unboxing, the Astro Slide. This one I got first. Then we'll do one for FX Tech Pro X hopefully later if it comes. Yeah, let's see. So the box here is actually very similar to the one for the Cosmo Communicator. I do have the Cosmo Communicator too, by the way, for comparison. So this is the Cosmo Communicator. This is the box for that. Right, you open it up and it shows kind of the device, and this is the one for the Astro Slide. Alright, so hopefully you guys can see this better now, but basically it's just showing the specs of the device. So yeah, you have 8 gigs of RAM, 128 gigs of storage, latest Wi-Fi of course, almost the latest Bluetooth is 5.1, not 5.2. 5G ready, Qi ready, and you can dual boot or multi-boot into different operating systems, which is a feature of all the other Planet Computers devices as well. So with the Gemini PDA and the Cosmo Communicator, I was able to dual boot them into not only Android but also Debian as well. And Debian is a Linux distribution, and it's not like a mobile version. I think it's just a full-blown version of Linux. So it's really cool that Planet Computers can do that with their devices. I believe there are some builds that you can actually install Ubuntu Touch or maybe even Sailfish onto the devices, depending on the support. But yeah, you can definitely multi-boot into different operating systems. And that's one really cool feature about Planet Computer devices. So I'm sure with Astro Slide, they're going to add in support for maybe at least Linux, and then maybe Ubuntu Touch or Sailfish as well, in addition to Android. So that's a really cool feature of their devices. Hoping to see that with, maybe there might be support for it right now for Astro Slide. I'll have to take a look. And then you got in octa-core CPU, I believe, 8 cores. So it's a MediaTek Dimensity. So yeah, this is an octa-core, 8-core CPU. So it's a MediaTek because a lot of these small companies, I guess they don't have the money to pay up for Qualcomm Snapdragon or something like that. Still should be pretty performant. Might not be the fastest CPU out there, but still should be pretty performant, I would say. So yeah, these MediaTek CPUs, I guess, are cheaper, so that's why they usually go with them. And yeah, 24 keyboard layouts. Okay, programmable keys. That's cool. Rock-up slider hinge. I think this is a special kind of hinge that patented hinge that they designed for this device. So I'm eager to test that one out. And then yeah, the camera. So you got a Sony 48 megapixel sensor for the main camera on the back, the 13 megapixel front camera. I don't really have too much hope for the camera because with these small companies and startups, it's really hard for them to make a good camera. Like, the reason it's not just the hardware, but the software as well. It's just harder for smaller companies to get really good software engineers to optimize the camera, right? And that's really why Apple and Google, they have the best camera phones, is because they have the best software engineers. If you look at, Samsung has pretty decent ones as well. But if you look at even Sony, right? Sony makes really good camera hardware. They actually supply camera hardware to a lot of different phone makers, but often their software is lacking because they don't have as good software engineers. So their cameras still lag behind like Apple and Google, even though Sony makes the sensors and they make good standalone cameras. So that's the thing about cameras is it's not just a hardware thing, it's a software as well. And usually startups and small companies, they just don't have the resources to hire, like to have really good software engineers to optimize the software for the camera. So yeah, that's why with a lot of small companies, they just can't keep up with the camera. I mean, the camera will be decent, but I don't expect anything from it. And then you got 2 SIM card slots, dual SIM plus micro SD. That's awesome. eSIM as well. That's got the full complement. Nice. Got a 6.39 inch AMOLED display. And then you get a backlit mechanical keyboard. Ooh, okay. Is that with the previous devices mechanical keyboards, or are they just like? Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. I'm gonna compare it. Right, I have my Cosmo Communicator. Actually, I'm gonna compare it to their previous devices. But yeah, I want to see if there's any difference in the feel. But I have to say, like, for one thing, that I've always loved the Planet Computers keyboards. That's one of the main reasons you should buy these devices, just for the keyboards, but also for the multi-boot operating systems. That's really cool as well. But yeah, it's really taking inspiration from the old school Scion keyboards, which a lot of people liked. And yeah, it's got 2 USB ports and an audio jack. Same as the Cosmo Communicator, and a smart button. Custom function. Okay, that's cool. A lot of unihertz devices do that too. A lot of small companies actually make devices that do that. All right, here we go. Here is the Astro Slide, but before we take a look at that, let's see what else is in the box. All right, so we get this is a SIM card ejector tool, and I'm guessing this is the quick start guide and stuff. Planet Computers from the UK, and keyboard shortcuts. Ooh, got nice keyboard shortcuts here. That's similar to a lot of the Blackberries back in the day. They would have, like Blackberry devices would have these shortcuts for the keyboard too. It's just a common thing when you have a physical keyboard. You have quick launchers and shortcuts like that, which is nice. And yep, okay. Overall, really nice. Yeah, pretty nice guide here. With some full color pictures and stuff like that. Yeah, I like this guide. It's pretty well made. It tells you everything about the device and what everything does. Yeah, pretty well made. Alright, what else? Stickers, right, okay, sure. You got stickers as well. And then you get a microfiber cloth, cleaning cloth, nice. I'm guessing these are the chargers here. Yep, the charging brick right here. Pretty standard. And better than what Apple will give you, by the way. These big companies don't even give you charging bricks anymore. The small companies now do, still do. So USB-C. Yep, I'm guessing this is a USB-A to USB-C, not USB-C to USB-C. But it's alright, I mean, most people will be satisfied with that. Here. Alright, that's all that's in the box here. Again, very similar box to the Cosmo Communicator box. Again, same kind of layout and stuff. Also opens up like that. So I think they just pretty much reused the box design. But this one tells you all the specs here, which is nice. Yeah, Cosmo just shows you this. Alright, cool. Let's take a look now at the actual phone. Alright. Interesting, okay. Alright, so this is the Astro Slide. Okay, how to open. You push out, display, direction arrow, slide display. Okay, I'm interested to see what this, was it rock up keyboard? Yeah, I'm interested to see what this rock up keyboard does. Yeah, so supposedly it's a nice patented design. And I think it was the original like Scion keyboard designer that had an input in it. Ooh, look at this. This actually looks really nice. Wow. It's got a nice Planet Computers logo here. Astro branded 48 megapixel camera. I mean, even though I don't expect much of the camera, this looks really nice. It looks premium. And Astro Slide here. Planet Computers. Nice. And yeah, this is the device right here. Ooh, okay. So yeah, let's just go over the externals first. So again, I really like this nice back. It's got this nice textured back. It feels really premium. Again, we're going to compare this with the Cosmo Communicator for a bit. So yeah, this is the Cosmo Communicator, right? It, I mean, the back just looks a little bit bland in comparison, right? Just, okay, it has a logo, that's it, and the device name. This one has got a nice textured back here. First of all, the Cosmo doesn't have a camera on the back, right? The Astro Slide actually does. The Cosmo camera is actually here on the front. But yeah, this is, it looks premium. I mean, look, they got the etched logo here, and it just looks a lot better. I mean, look at, just from the backs alone, you can tell the Astro Slide looks a lot more premium, a lot cooler, in my opinion. And let's look at the other parts here. So we have volume buttons here, which are a little bit recessed, a little bit small, honestly. This is a custom button that will launch like any specific app or something that you configure it to. This is what a lot of the BlackBerry devices used to do. Actually, Unihertz devices do that now too, which are kind of trying to be like BlackBerry. But yeah, you press this and you launch like a, yeah, you can configure it to whatever you want, which is nice and convenient. I guess these are stereo speakers right here. And then we have a USB-C port on this side. And we have another USB-C port and a headphone jack on this side. And then on the other side here, you have the power button, which I guess is also the fingerprint sensor right here. Yeah, the power button and also the fingerprint sensor. And this is the SIM card and the micro SD card slot. So yeah, that's pretty much it. So yeah, this is the Cosmo Communicator. This is their previous device, and compared to the Astro Slide, you can see probably the same dimensions. Yeah, pretty similar dimensions here. Just the Astro Slide is going to be a bit thicker due to that slider mechanism. So yeah, the Cosmo Communicator opens up like this. So every time you want to use the display, you have to open it up like this, right? So that's what's inconvenient about it. It does have the secondary display up here, which is more like a smartwatch-like notification screen. But if you really want to use it like a phone, then yeah, you have to open it up and then do your stuff here. Or do it like this, which is a little bit awkward. But yeah, I think the problem with the Cosmo Communicator is that it's too much like I mean, it does succeed in trying to be like an old school like handheld PC or an old school Scion or PDA. It's just like it's trying to be like an old school like palm top type of device, right? You open it up and do it like this. But you know, these days people use their phones like this, right, vertically. So that's just kind of annoying. It's just like, oh, I have to use this as a phone, then I have to open it like this, and then use it like a phone from here, and it's weird, right? It's nice that they have this physical keyboard, and that's how they chose to do it as a clamshell, but I think that was the main issue with the Cosmo Communicator, is that if you wanted to use it like a modern smartphone, it's just weird, right? You have to use it like this. Even with the secondary display, which is an improvement over the Gemini, yeah, most people are just going to find it kind of awkward to use it like this. You know, they use your phones vertically. Landscape-wise, it's really nice, but then, you know, how often do people really use this landscape compared to vertically if they're going to use this as a normal phone? So yeah, that's what the Astro Slide is trying to fix. The Astro Slide is trying to improve on it by actually making this easier to use as a normal device. Because right now, because it just feels like a normal smartphone, right? You can, yeah, just do whatever, you know, use it vertically like you would a normal smartphone. But then when you do need that keyboard, instead of opening it up like clamshell, you just slide it up like this. So this is that rock up slider mechanism like that. Slide it up like this. Very, very, I think, just using it, yeah. It's really nice because I don't think it'll accidentally do that. It's not like not too loose. But on the other hand, it doesn't take too much effort to just push it up. It seems like it's very fluid. So that's what I like about this. Yeah, so it won't automatically, you know, it's not too loose or anything, it won't automatically do it. But with just not too much strength, just a little bit, you can push it up. Very fluid. Yeah, not that much force necessary, and just comes up like that. So yeah, this is a really convenient mechanism, right? You can easily just like slide it up to have access to the keys, and you can thumb type with it if you need it. Same thing you can do with the Cosmo Communicator, but it's a lot more convenient here, right? Because you have, you know, normally you can use this as a regular smartphone, and then you can just slide it up like this if you need the keyboard, whereas the Cosmo Communicator, you have to open it up every time, and it's weird to use it in the vertical orientation. But you'll notice that the Cosmo Communicator has an extra row of keys up here, right? The number keys, delete and escape, which the Astro Slide doesn't seem to have. But actually, it does. So I understand why they patented this mechanism now and why they call it the rock up mechanism. So it's not only just a slider mechanism right here, but you can continue pushing it like this to reveal the extra set of keys. And what you do is you rock it up like this. So it's kind of like you pull out the mechanism even further if you want it to, and then you tilt the display like this, and it just latches into place. And now it looks pretty much just like the Cosmo Communicator, right? So this is really cool, right? So that's why they have this patented rock-up mechanism on the back here. This mechanism here, where it's you can use this as a regular smartphone. Then if you do need the keyboard, like quickly, you can slide it up like this, just have access for something to type on. But then if you want to have even more access and you want to use it like, you know, kind of like a clamshell, like the Gemini PDA or the Cosmo, you just push it up like this and then lock it in place, and now you have that. So you can use it like this now, or you can still use it like this, right, with your thumbs, or you can just put it on a desk somewhere and then just type with it. I think the keys are pretty much exactly the same size, right? So yeah, it looks like the Cosmo Communicator keyboard and the Astro Slide, exactly the same size keys. So if you're familiar with the Cosmo Communicator keyboard and the Scion keyboards in the past, this is the same thing. So you'll just be right at home with the keyboard here. I think the exact same shortcuts as well. Yeah, I mean, you can see there's secondary functions for all the keys, right? I think this one will launch the Planet Computers little like short dock right there that you'll see in the custom version of Android. And yeah, there's like secondary functions for pretty much everything: volume up, brightness settings, play, next pause, next track, microphone mute. Yeah, there's secondary functions for everything. So yeah, this is a really, really cool device, right? It's like Cosmo Communicator, okay? Like the secondary display right here is cool, but if you want to use it as a phone or as a just to use the keyboard, you have to pop it up. It's a clamshell. Astro Slide, I can use this as a regular smartphone here. If I need the keyboard, I can slide it open like this and use it. And if I want to use it in kind of like more of a laptop mode, I can just and have extra access to the keys here, right? I can just prop up the display like this, so, and use it like that, or like this. It's really, really cool device. I mean, this rock-up mechanism, really cool, right? I understand why they patented it now. All right, now I have the Astro Slide up and running, and yeah, I'm just gonna log in with the fingerprint sensor. It works fine. Although sometimes, like if you press your finger like too many times, it's not gonna recognize it. So you just gotta do it slowly and with intent, and I guess it will work. But yeah, this is how it looks like. It's a relatively, I would say, big phone in the hand. I really don't like big phones, but for comparison, I'll show you guys the Samsung Galaxy Fold 4. So the Galaxy Fold 4 is, I mean, of course, the Galaxy Fold 4 is a much more powerful phone, and it's much more polished because, well, it's by Samsung. So of course, the fingerprint sensor on the Fold 4, you can see how fast that is, right? Whereas on this device, like, you gotta be very careful about this, otherwise it's not gonna recognize it there. You gotta be very careful about it. Yeah, you can see like this device is bigger than the Fold 4, despite the fact that the Fold 4 actually is a tablet, right? This goes right out into a tablet, which is something that obviously the Astro Slide cannot do. But it's interesting to see just how big this device is, right? Already, a lot of people think the Fold 4 is a big device. I mean, look at the size of the Astro Slide. That's because it has to accommodate that physical keyboard, and it's quite a thick boy, right? Look at it. It's a thick boy. So yeah, this is almost like it's like a UMPC, right? Yeah, it's almost like as thick as a UMPC, which is kind of crazy. But yeah, this is how it is normally, right? You just use this as a regular phone normally. By the way, 60 hertz refresh rate, not 120 hertz, so it doesn't have the latest bells and whistles of the flagship phones that we get these days. And that's unfortunately just something that you have to deal with when it comes to a lot of these niche devices. Like, this is obviously a niche phone from a small company that most people haven't heard of. So yeah, they can't put all the latest bells and whistles into their devices. So, and really none of these small companies, FX Tech, Unihertz, right, none of these like really small companies are going to put like flagship stuff in their phones. That's just how it is, right? The big companies, like if you want like the latest phone, just get a phone from the big companies, right? Samsung, Apple, Sony, Google. You can get the latest flagship specs from them. If you're getting this phone, it's obviously for another reason, right? So yeah, don't expect flagship stuff from this. The camera isn't going to be the best, and yeah, it's not going to have the best display, and yeah, and the operating system is Android 11. So yeah, I'm just going to tell you it's Android 11. It supposedly will run Linux Debian in the future, just like the Cosmo Communicator and the Gemini PDA. But as of right now, there is no Linux Debian support. So I think it's upcoming. So they will add it eventually. But for now, I'm just going to show you guys Android 11 because this phone can't run Debian yet. It will in the future, apparently, according to Planet Computers. And you know, I do kind of believe them because they have installed Debian on the Cosmo Communicator and the Gemini PDA. Although I know that they had some issues with support, especially when it comes to the Cosmo Communicator. I think there were like half-assed versions of Sailfish and Ubuntu Touch maybe. It didn't really get full support. And the Debian, honestly, the Debian version on the Cosmo Communicator is kind of broken as well. So yeah. Just keep your fingers crossed. I'm sure they'll come up with a version of Linux to put on this device. It just probably will not be perfect. It comes with a few Planet Computers apps pre-installed. So there's this one, OneSearch, I guess, to find anything on your device. So it comes with that app, this OneSearch app. Second one is AirMail. So I guess this is Planet Computers like email app. So yeah, I guess this is their custom one. And yeah, so that was AirMail, and then this is the next app here, Notes. I can test out later, actually. Agenda. So this one is, yeah, if you landscape mode, but this is basically the same apps that come with all Planet Computers devices, including the Gemini and the Cosmo Communicator. This is kind of their proprietary apps. And Ledison, which is, yeah, this is another app to customize the LEDs, I believe, that are used for notifications and stuff like that. So yeah, I don't really use it too much, but there it is. So yeah, that's the normal experience of using this as a phone. They do provide some of these apps, and we can also test out the camera. So this is the camera, and I have my Cosmo Communicator, for example, right here, and I'm going to take a picture. Again, don't expect a lot from this phone. This is a phone from a startup company, so I don't expect the camera to be great or anything like that. Sure, let's just do this. Take picture, video mode. Okay, cool. I guess this app, what is this camera app? I don't know what this default camera app is, but it doesn't have too many features. Just has picture and video, and that's it. And HDR, flash, and selfie mode. I'm not sure how good the selfie camera is, but it's a standard 13 megapixel. And the mode's normal, long exposure. Yeah, there's some other stuff here, but basically it's fairly basic camera app here. And then, yep, and then this is the picture right here I took. Again, nothing special about this camera. It's not going to compete with any of the flagship phones at all. Even the mid-range phones might have a better camera than this one. So it really is just a okay-ish camera. There's nothing really great about it. So don't buy this for the camera. It's just going to be adequate. But yeah, let's look at the experience of actually using the keyboard here. So let's do this. It's a backlit keyboard, which is nice. That's exactly what you get on the Cosmo as well. And then you have to kind of lift it up like this if you want to put it into this mode, which will give you the full keyboard. And yeah, from this mode here, let's just try typing on some stuff here. Okay, so this is the Notes application, I believe. Let's see. Yeah, new note here. Okay. Hey guys, and I'll just do some thumb typing here. So this is the mechanical keyboard, I think. Although, by the way, there's a European style enter key, which is a bigger enter key than the US style, which is, I mean, it's pretty cool. Alright, so now I'm going to switch the language to Korean and see if it works. Yep, I can just switch it to Korean. Yep, let's see, remember this. Oh, actually I'll use this one. There, this one says I'm writing Korean right now. So yeah, switch languages just like that. So yeah, anyways, this keyboard is pretty good. I mean, I've always been a fan of the Planet Computers keyboard for Gemini PDA and the Cosmo Communicator. In my opinion, one of the best keyboards for a smartphone. Like, yeah, compared to the FX Tech Pro, I like it better. I think the FX Tech Pro has a membrane keyboard. I mean, they can definitely fit more keys on it, but the keys are not as big. And yeah, I prefer generally these keys. It's a mechanical keyboard. The keys reminiscent of the Scion keyboards of the past, of course. Big and easy to hit. So yeah, generally the keyboard is the best thing about these phones. Yeah, like I said, it's a little bit unwieldy to use, but like the phone itself is a bit unwieldy to use, but the keyboard is one of the best things about it, probably the best thing about it actually. So yeah, great keyboard as expected, just like with the Gemini and Cosmo. I really love this keyboard. And there's other things you can do with it. For example, I can play a game like Sonic, and you guys can also hear the volume actually. I'm going to set the volume up to full. Yep. And see if I can use the keyboard with this game. Yeah, so this is the full volume, stereo speakers. Nothing really special about these speakers actually, so it's just okay. Obviously, there's better speakers and there's also worse speakers too. So yeah, the speakers are just okay. Let's check this out. Okay. Yeah, here we go. So. Yeah, the thing is, you can't really map this keyboard to any games, I don't think. So I just have to like test out which controls work with which game. But for example, like L is, I guess, the jump button for Sonic. So I'm not sure why it's L, I don't know how to change it, but that's just what it is here. Maybe on emulators and stuff, you can play emulators and maybe you can change it. But yeah, some games are just... yeah. Anyways, yeah, definitely can play some games on this thing. Yep. Yeah. Definitely games will work. Just you gotta find out which keys does what. Yeah. Okay. And just like with the Cosmo Communicator and Gemini PDA, you can press this Planet Computers icon here, and this button will bring up the dock here, which, yeah, you have access to the quick desktop, which will bring you back to the main desktop, of course. Chrome, Word, Excel, Skype, the Planet Computers Mail app, Agenda app, Notes app, Lettucin, right, to change the LEDs and stuff, data and keyboard. Which, this one will, change your keyboard and stuff. So the data one is interesting. I'm actually not too sure what this one does. It says create new data here, database setup. So you can create a database, I guess. Not really too sure about this one. And yes, you can map the little custom button on the side here. I think I mapped it to the voice assistant right now. So if I press it right now, this voice assistant comes up. So yeah, you can map that button to really anything you want to launch any kind of application, but I have it set to open the Google Assistant. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Again, I can't show you guys Linux Debian because it hasn't really been released yet officially for the Astro Slide. So that's pretty much the phone. It's a very interesting phone. Really no other phone like this on the market right now. It really brings back memories of old school slider phones like the Motorola Droid, for example, that slides out with the keyboard, or maybe the T-Mobile Sidekick. And I think this is it's a nice phone for people who really want the physical keyboard. One thing is, I think if you really want to pick up this phone, it's pretty expensive right now. It's $900. I got the $600 because I was a Indiegogo backer 2 years ago. But for the price right now, you pay for it $900. It's a little bit steep because some of the software just isn't polished right now, and the Linux and multi-boot isn't ready yet. So I do not recommend you buy this phone right now. Maybe just wait a bit until see what Planet Computers updates this device with. Right now, the updates seem to be very minimal. Just waiting for their updates for adding multi-boot support, fixing some of the issues. I did notice that a lot of the interface just isn't as polished right now. So I would highly recommend waiting on this device for it to become a little bit more polished. Really, if you're buying it right now, it's kind of like an early adopter thing, and I mean, it's just whenever you buy a Planet Computers device, it is just like supporting a startup anyways, right? So yeah, that's pretty much it. Experience with this. Really, the only reason to get it would be if you really care about this physical keyboard, which is a pretty good physical keyboard. The other phones I have to compare it to, I don't have the FX Tech Pro 1 right now. There is the FX Tech Pro X, which hasn't come out yet, but supposedly they're shipping next month. We'll see. But compared to the FX Tech, I think I like the keyboard on this better. I've always liked the keyboard on the Planet Computers devices better than the FX Tech ones. It's a mechanical keyboard instead of a membrane. There's bigger keys, easy to press. I just prefer the keyboard on this better. And the main advantage of the FX Tech was that you have that, smartphone display ready at your disposal. Well, Astro Slide has this as well, so that is no longer an advantage for the FX Tech. However, the FX Tech community is a little bit more mature right now because this device just came out. So if you really want, the solid Linux support, Sailfish OS support and stuff, Ubuntu Touch maybe, like FX Tech really has that going right now. The community, it's been out for a while, a few years now, whereas Astro Slide just came out. So if you really want that multi-boot stuff, I think the FX Tech is better. Otherwise, I prefer the keyboard on the Astro Slide. I think this really is a really cool keyboard right here, right? Really the only one I've seen like this. Yeah, designed in London, UK, made in China, right? Really cool. The way they call this the rock up keyboard, right? Because really you just slide it and then it goes up like this. So even the old school physical keyboard phones can't really do that. They were really just like this, right? They did not tilt up like this one. So this is a combination of a Motorola Droid and then say a Nokia E7, right? Where it's like that. Or this is like a Nokia N900 like this, and then Nokia E7 like this. So it's pretty cool. They have that mechanism here, really cool mechanism. I have to compare this to the Cosmo Communicator. Well, obviously, I think this is more convenient for people who use this as a normal phone because you no longer have to open this up all the time, and then using it like this, like the screen like this, or holding it like this is kind of it's just weird, right? Imagine you had to open up this clamshell every time you're using the phone in a vertical kind of orientation. Is just weird for the Cosmo Communicator or the Gemini PDA actually, and that is rectified by the Astro Slide. you do have a secondary display here, but yeah, it's not the same thing as actually having your main display, right? Otherwise, yeah, if you like open it up like this, then it's exactly the same as the Cosmo Communicator. So there's no advantage of the Cosmo Communicator there. However, the Cosmo Communicator, I would feel like the build quality is a little bit better on the Cosmo Communicator. It just feels really solid and premium. Whereas the Astro Slide is kind of plastic, even though I like the texture and design on the back better. But overall build quality, I actually have to give it still to the Cosmo Communicator and the Gemini PDA. For some reason, this just, I don't know, like they just made this plastic. So I like the design better, but the materials, I think the Cosmo is actually still better on that. And of course, Cosmo actually has a working, well, sort of working, still has issues, but you can multi-boot into Debian Linux right now. You can't do that on the Astro Slide. Otherwise, yeah, I would say if you want to use this as your normal phone, then of course, the Astro Slide is way better. If you're just going to use this, you know, typing like this, then maybe it doesn't make too much of a difference, right? Because if you're just going to open it up every time to use it in landscape anyways, then maybe the Cosmo Communicator is fine. Another phone I have is the Unihertz Titan Pocket, or the Titan. This one's another physical keyboard phone. It's more akin to a BlackBerry style, and yeah, they're just different. Yeah, they're just different. Like this one is more of a bigger device, of course, and one that you would rather use in landscape mode, whereas this is more of a normal, I guess, not really normal, it's actually small sized. Yeah, but if you're used to using a BlackBerry, then this is probably the way to go. This is also a lot less bulky. If I compare this to my Galaxy Fold 4, this is bulkier than my Galaxy Fold 4, and my Fold 4 is a tablet as well. So that tells you how bulky the Astro Slide is. So yeah, that's it, guys. If you guys just want like a small pocketable phone with a physical keyboard, then I think the Unihertz Titan Pocket is probably the way to go. And the Cosmo Communicator is still good for people who really just want to like have a small device that can run Linux, I guess. And if you just want to do a lot of landscape typing, then the Cosmo Communicator is still fine. If you want to use, you know, if you want to have a physical keyboard that you type in landscape, but you also want to use as like a normal phone, then the Astro Slide is for those people. So that's really what I can say. And then pretty much I would say this is superior to the FX Tech Pro 1, except for the fact that the FX Tech Pro 1 has a more mature community. That's probably the, yeah, personally, you know, there's people who like the FX Tech keyboard, but for me, I prefer the keyboard on this one more. It's just the FX Tech has more of a community, so it's been out for a few years now. And it's lighter, I guess. It's a bit smaller and lighter than this as well, so that's another thing to consider. This is kind of a bulky beast. So yeah, if weight is a factor, then do not buy this phone, because this is kind of really bulky phone. So anyways, I hope that Planet Computers continues to update the Astro Slide. It will give us Linux Debian hopefully soon, and maybe Ubuntu Touch and Sailfish. Fingers crossed, who knows. But we'll see. And yeah, right now it's not really a mature product yet. It just came out, so we'll just have to wait for the developers and everything, for Planet Computers and the community to come up with improvements. And yeah, right now it's not mature, it's not as polished. Just came out. There's still a lot of things to fix with this device. Yeah, there's just some UI elements that are, yeah, kind of yeah, either laggy or doesn't work the way that you expect. So yeah, I would say hold off on buying the Astro Slide for now until things get more mature and the community improves a little bit more, because it just came out. But yeah, overall, I'd say if you want to use this, if you're looking for a nice phone with a physical keyboard, like a pretty good physical keyboard, probably the best on a smartphone right now, then this is probably the way to go. Yeah, because like it's just way more convenient to use as a normal phone compared to the previous device, the Cosmo Communicator. So, and of course a much bigger display and a much more comfortable keyboard compared to something like the Unihertz Titan Pocket. So, and yeah, $900 is just way too much to pay for a device like this in this kind of state right now. So yeah, I would wait until this device gets some more improvements, some updates, before I would buy this device. That's my recommendation. I got it, of course, as a Indiegogo Kickstarter backer. But yeah, for you guys looking to buy one, yeah, I would probably wait until this becomes a little bit more mature, because yeah, $900 is a lot of money. Yeah, I do have mixed feelings about this so far. overall, I like it, but I feel like this could be improved a lot more. And yeah, we'll just have to wait and see. So, yep, that's it. Let me know if you guys have any comments or questions in the comment section below. Hopefully I can do a video sometime in the future when this is updated with Linux and give you guys an update on that. But for now, that's it. Thanks for watching.